line. Check the radio, pit crew is far from slow. The lights no longer yellow. Ready, steady, go. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 In love with the ride. Burning rubber smells real nice. Fuel it up once or twice. Come on, fast is the way to drive. Crowds all on their feet. Not one bothered by the heat. Imagine them in the driver's seat. Checkered flag would be sweet. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 Everybody get ready. On your feet. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Crank it up. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 Crank it up.
Well, race fans, welcome back here to PTM Racing TV, where we're about to present to you the BackFire Sim Racing boys, as they are going to take on for the first time tonight the Auto Club Speedway track with not just the Next Gen Cup cars, but the updated Next Gen Cup cars. It's time to see what these drivers can bring to the table, as we're now about to approach the show for tonight's action. 670 horsepower, package engaged, 4-inch spoiler on the back. It's going to be a hard track, hard car to master. It's going down right here on PTM Racing TV, presented in part by Muffler Man. So let's see what we got on the lineup here tonight. It's just going to be on the pole. We're going to go right out of the gate with Tom Bourne. The number 16 is outside. That'll be Alexander K. Jerfon, the 99. Row number 2, it's going to be Blake Allen. The 26 is outside. That's the 10, Robert Kenny. Row number 3, Patrick McQuaid. The 77 is outside. That's the 97, Brock Savati. Row 4 seeds Nathan Bogart. And the 30 is outside. The 87, Thaddeus Marshall. Row 5 sees Daniel Keown. And the 25 is outside. The 21, that is Noah Allen. Row number 6 is Cole Martin. The 45 is outside. The 57, Matthew Rodriguez. Row number 7, that's going to be Chris Papa. And it is outside. That'll be the 83, Joe Davidi. Row 8 will be Anthony Zirkle. And the 29 is outside. The 14, Christian Rose. Row number 9, it's going to be the 61 of Bronson Stafford is outside. Nick Biddy in the 85. Row number 10 is going to be 96 of Eddie Morris is outside. The 55, give it Nicholas Panico. Row number 11, Aaron Brown, the 95 is outside. That's the 63. That will be Daxton Stokes. Row number 12, it is Jason Schilling, and the 2 is outside. The 54, Paul Owens. Row 13, Mark Gonzalez, and the 31 is outside. The 51, Carl Hamwork. Row number 14, that will be Wes Fuller, and the 35 is outside. Joshua Kirsch in the 37. Final starters in this one. In the back of the back, it'll be Ricky Gonzalez in the 48. Mike Corvo in the 82, and then Joshua Billiter in the number 46. Race fans, it's time again. The drivers are ready. The battles are heavy, and we're about to get down to business here on PTM Racing TV. We'll bring him right around out of corner number 4 onto the front straightaway this time. But let's give it all they've got here. Let's see what happens. Over 30 drivers make their call. The field is set. We're off and running. Now you may be wondering at home, why the heck am I getting so excited about a horsepower package addition to these cars? Well, that's for one good reason. Number one, there's a lot more power these guys are going to have at their disposal. Number two, it's because these things are now even harder to drive, and that makes them even more of a challenge to figure it out. That puts more of an emphasis on the driver and how they handle each corner, each track, each side. Speed is a major factor, and driving is going to be a huge win around here. I can tell you right now that the back hunts are going to be a little bit less and a little bit more on point to focus to drive these things around the track and give them everything they can here. As because out of the gate, you can already see Tom Bourne having all sorts of company right beside him, Alexander J. Kerfon. And the 99 already putting on a fight, putting on a little bit of a battle here as he gets company up from behind. The number 26 of Blake Owl coming in through the inside zone as Patrick McQuaid is right below him. Field marching their way down the back straightaway, though. Anybody's guess who can get the start. Brent Logue, someone on board saying, good evening, sir. Hope you're having a great one. Yep, doing pretty good, man. Cliff Clavin, Corbeau, saying, let's go Misfit Motorsports. Christopher Hopka saying, let's go McQuaid. Martin and Roberts, great to have you all on board today for the show. Well, a little bit of trouble down there, unfortunately, for Robert Kenny. As the caution flag flies on out here. Problems down there as he gets it right off of turn number 4. And Kenny, I gotta believe, probably not too thrilled that he's already made the first mistake of the day in the FRN number 10. Well, take it to the PT Mr. Replay. Have a look at this one here. Looked like he might have just overdrove the corner a slight bit here. Yeah, that guy came right around that corner there, and everything just kind of got all sorts of messed up and crooked there, unfortunately. Got him into a bit of a bind and a bit of a problem shoot here, so that will have to slow him up a little bit, as field will have themselves in play and in on the charge. They're going to work their way back around here and hopefully get things kind of cleared up, kind of things relaxed up a little more. Drivers will have to just kind of keep things a little bit more pressurized. They'll have to keep a close eye on how they hit each turn. The corners are going to be extremely difficult for some to have to work around. Some better than others will have more opportunities to strike it big and strike it well. I'll say more than anything, though, it's going to be all about consistency and really just a range and a round of how you hit each, of how you burn the tires up. Because again, with these 670 horsepower packages and the setup that this car is, to me, the biggest issue and glaring problem that still lies within is its steering and control. It, to me, does just not feel on par to what I feel like these cars should be yet. And I feel like the NASCAR drivers are still kind of dialing that in as well. So, if anything, these guys will have a good run and a good showcase here to bring, but it's going to be a bit of a handful, I would say, more than all is said and done. Of course, we got some camera angles here tonight to show you guys here. Some new that you may not have seen here before. Some that you may have been kind of experiencing a little bit here and there. Either way, you always see these kind of camera angles popping up from time to time. It'll definitely be interesting to see throughout the event, throughout the showcase. They'll kind of pop up when we get to the racing aspect here and kind of get through more into the field. Set we're under our first caution of the night. Well, better time than anything to take a look at our track tech talk for the evening. Tonight, Auto Club Speedway, 2 miles in length, bankings upwards in the high end of the racetracks we usually see these guys run on. This track is a very much steep banked corner, so you can get the outside to work, you get the middle line to work a little bit. The bottom lane seems to be kind of the open end of the track. Here in Fontana, California, the weather holding up pretty good, especially considering we are, in the middle, we're literally the end of January. But what, 2022 just started. How the heck are we almost done with the first month of 2022? I must be getting older. 2 miles per hour wind here, current clarity on the sky, clear as can be, just a little bit of clouds here or there. But this D-shaped configuration kind of style track will do one thing more than anything else, and that will be a testament of the handling, as well as how much the pack racing gets involved. Because again, even though it's 670 horsepower package, that doesn't necessarily mean these guys can't get into a pack real easily. Drafting is the saving grace and the big key factor here at Auto Club for these guys to work with, and they know it all too well. before they had this updated car coming out here. Of course, they had a 550 horsepower package deal. That one was more designed, obviously, for the mile and a half to get trucks to drive like more of a plate track, kind of a Talladega Daytona style. Now that is obviously not the case, because I went and practiced these things earlier. And yeah, you can stay close together for a little while, but after a while, you start to break free when you start to get a little bit more of a hammer down on these cars. Tires can break easily, and tires can give up rather simple and smooth. So it's going to be a bit of a testament to these drivers to figure out the rest. Let's bring it right around town here, folks. Get them all wrapped, stacked, and all that. We're going to hit them on by here once more. The number 16, Tom Bourne, looking to try and get the FRN machine into victory lane today, but he's going to have to try to knock down Alexander J. Kerfon, and that Kerfon's mark at 99. And then, of course, McQuaid and the Owl will be in that run, in that showcase, and you can't count out Savati as well as Rodriguez. Those guys have been known to put on a bit of a show and put on a bit of a fight here as they go around the track. Green flag back on out. Punching their way through the field out of the gate here. All drivers getting a good standing start, good jump on around the track. Moving through the field. The number 57 here, Matthew Rodriguez, getting a jump on the outside, looking to try to knock down the 97 Savati with a huge run off the corners. Down the back straightaway, McQuaid trying to give more runoff, more consistency around Howell. Howell holding his line down, consistent as key and smooth as the run. The onboard camera here on the top of the 26 as the rest of the field just kind of hunts their way back through. Watch out for a Muffler Man, though. Here comes the number 77. McQuaid sneaks his way to the inside, looking for the shards, looking for the runoff. And you can just see already how much more power these guys are getting from those runs. They're no longer having to rely just on the package draft. They can actually get a good runoff just by simply hitting the gas pedal a little harder. But an emphasis, if you hit it a little too hard, you can also run the risk of literally burning your tires up and get yourself into more of a pickle than you realize. Kerfon and Bourne trying to draft off one another, trying to get away from the field as the guys get right up through the packs. In the back of the pack, Jason Schilling going out a little bit here with Daniel Keown as well as Nicholas Panico. Panico bringing out, well, I still for the life of me cannot figure out what kind of design that thing is, but I know it is design you usually see on the cups that I would get from my local ice cream shop here in town. Shout out to my boys here at Fizz here in Carlisle. But I always remember seeing that. I always just remember seeing that little creative design all around the place. Even in like local bars and stuff, they still had that thing. I don't know what the heck is going on. I don't know how the heck that got so popular, but yeah, whatever it is, it's still pretty cool to me. Down on the back straightaway though, Count right now having a little bit of problems because the 1-3 of 13, that is Chris Papa, getting at an advantage, a bit of a jump here around him off to the set of corners. Get you some motorsports represented by Cole Martin and Patrick McQuaid, with Martin right now currently fighting it out back of the pack here. He's in the top 12, or it's actually 12th right now, top 15 I should say is where he's at. Neil dealing with the added pressure of the number 29, bring it to him, and that's Anthony Zirkle. Zirkle trying to get a jump on him on the outside line, looking for any kind of runoff he can get here to try to pace his momentum the way he likes it. Heading him up down now the back straightaway here, looking to dive in a little bit more, a little bit harder here. Holding the run in, holding it in close as can be, tighten the pack here. Circle with a little bobble, the 45 getting a good jump here. Martin trying to hold it up as the 3 wide salute is engaged. Panico, Circle, and Schilling all in it, crossing through. That's not going to work this time. Oh, but can they save it? Yes, yes, they can. Whoa, look out behind him, though. Bronson Stafford in the 61's trying to. It's not going to save it this time. He can't save it. Well, we saw one good save and we saw a good try to save, but unfortunately that did not quite plan out the way he hoped for. Bronson got way too loose off of turn number 1, and this is what I'm telling you, folks. This is why I said that steering is going to be a big issue and a factor today. Look at this, big tap there on the 13 by Papa. Look at him try to save it. You can see this right here is generally where you can save it, and then you can just see the car just went straight right. There's just nothing you can do about that. That twitchy little corner end off exit, that's the real biggest problem that I really feel suffers with these cars still. And if you don't believe me, take a look at this. This is your onboard replay presented in part by BackFire Sim Racing and Muffler Man tonight. That tag to Papa. Now look at Stafford. Look at how he's hitting the corners. This should be a save right there. He's got it kind of saved in. But look at that right there. Notice how the car was literally just kind of off center and he was trying to get to save a little bit quicker. But that thing just shoots straight right and there's nothing he can do about that. That is the difficulty these cars possess and challenge on these drivers, and it makes things so much more difficult and enduring to make sure you hang on for your not only your car's sake, but also for your championship's sake. 10 laps down, drivers are going to head into pit road or not. Looks like Kerfan decided to play a little mind games down there in the 99, so while he's playing up some mind games, we got business to take care of. I'll talk to you guys here in a minute. We're going to take a quick commercial break. But when we come back, race fans, there is more action to be played out here on PTM Racing TV. This action just got started, and BackFire is out to keep it going. Tonight's race, ladies and gentlemen, has been brought to you in part by Muffler Man, the mechanic shop that has served customers for all over the country for 20 years straight. Muffler Man is located on 219 Columbus Road in Athens, Ohio, that performs all sorts of services for all various vehicles, including exhaust, maintenance, custom, bending, shocks, struts, brakes maintenance, oil changes, tire services, and more. You can call Muffler Man at 740-592-3593 to get your vehicle serviced today. A big thank you from BackFire Sim Racing and all of us here at PTM Racing TV for help supporting the show and supporting the drivers out on the track. So, as we get things kind of cooled off here from the start here, 10 laps in so far, 1/10 of the way there, and definitely a bit of a handful going on down on the track side of things here tonight. Last time we were here, we saw pretty much a war zone play out in the form of the Fast and Fun Champion Power Equipment Cup Series. Tonight, obviously, the BackFire Sim Racing boys bringing out another version of that Cup car, in this case the Gen 7s. I'm not calling them Next Gens anymore. I'm going to call them the Gen 7s. Can we just start calling them Gen 7s, please? But these Gen 7 Cup cars, man, they're one thing that's been really a handful and a bit of a hard time to scratch at and really figure out was when things were going to get a little bit more, you know, designed in actually more from prototype levels to actually manufactured levels, and it seems as though we're almost at that point, almost at that spot, but the downside is we're still a couple things missing there and still a few things I feel like could really use some work. Obviously that steering is priority number one. I don't know if the NASCAR drivers out there, if there's anybody out there, Kale, give me in touch if you can, but if anybody's out there that has any touch about how these cars are supposed to handle, let me know, because every time I research on that steering issue, I get told it is twitchy and it's a little bit less controllative, but is it really that bad is it bad in iRacing as it is in real life? Let me know, please. We're going to hoist our drivers right back up onto the field here, onto the track side of things. Currently, 30 drivers came to the track tonight. We have 28 on the field at the moment. Christian Brose, Joshua Billiter, and Marcus Allsnat out on the track in this case. Currently just working behind the scenes or helping out some of the drivers, keep this one under control and clean as can be. JKR Motorsports right now got a lot of help and a lot of love up there as Alexander Kerfan rallies the troops ahead while Brock Savati follows in from behind. I'm pretty sure Kerfan chose the outside lane because he wanted to join his fellow Conrad there up there. Might not be a bad idea, not be a bad call to say the least here. As our field will work them up on the outside bankings here. Every driver ready to fire them on down once more. This looks to be a hot spot start and a hot shot hit. We're going to go and reel them down onto the front straightaway this time. By to the green flag. We charge, we wave them high, we send them on down. The speed these cars carry and the breathtaking momentum that we see right now is certainly to endure. And to me, this is what it's all about. Just trying to find out which driver is the best at saving tires, saving cars, and working the rest of the field. Down in the back end of the things here, Bronson Stafford earlier on having a little problem down there in turn 1. Seems to have got it cleared up and fixed up enough. As now Joe Davide in the 83, as well as Paul Owens, kind of keeping right up ahead of him here, and Carl Handwerk. The man, last time we saw him, he was caught himself in a bit of a bad pickle or two and caught himself in a bad spot. Seems as though the car is in a much better position today, considering what happened in Rockingham. Obviously, a bit of a trip here from the Carolinas down here to California, if you will. But here in Fontana, the heat down here is so tremendous, so disruptively hot that the track down there and the temperatures it gets certainly burn up these things and burn up the cars more than really I think anything can be aspired to. So taking tires at a certain point and making sure you hit the spots at the right time is certainly going to be a big factor. As the yellow flag flies on now, Paul Owens, the number 54, wrecked hard there in turn number 2. Sounds like there is problems down there in the transmission. You hear the motor running, but nothing's going. I don't know what happened there exactly, but we'll take it to the PTM Racing replay here to find out. Here's another look at it here as we take a look closely here on the front straightaway. Everything seems okay here. And, whoa, that is, whoa. I'm not sure if the wheel just locked up like that or if it just got all of a sudden tight, but the car itself could not hold its line down. I'm not really sure what transpired there. You saw that left front tire locked to the left, which usually means you had a problem with the malfunction steering. We saw this last night, by the way, at Martinsville with one other driver coming off of turn 4. This is what happened here. You can see he gets it loose and whoa. I do not know, folks. That is a weird circumstance there for Paul Owens. Okay, whoa, I don't know there, my friends. We'll have to come back to that one a little later on and kind of see what maybe there's something inside the car itself that did it, but I'm not for sure seeing any situation that would have brought up like that would end up getting that in that kind of problem. But nevertheless, though, drivers will get their way around the track here and they'll get it fired back up, and we'll see who can manage themselves more as we go. That's a bit of a head scratcher, though, folks. I'm not sure what happened exactly there. All I know is that thing just did not lock. That thing locked up, and it became a bit of a problem down there, to say the least. So here early on, obviously, drivers still kind of packing their way around the track here. Carvon, Howell, Savati, Marshall, McQuaid, your top 5 at the moment. Again, JKR Motorsports being represented well up front here. Misfit Motorsports, though, still having a little bit of a showcase back there with Corvo, Davide, and Biddy. They are currently kind of in the lower end of the track, but that doesn't mean they can't come back through quick as they came back into as they were put back down there. Get a good look at one of them here in that 82, Mike Corvo. I talked with him just a little while ago, and I can tell you right now, man, he seemed like he was excited and ready to go with this field and ready to this kind of track down here. I think one thing he's really just kind of keeping a close eye on, though, is the overall consistency as well as what it means to him to be able to work through these fields and work through this track here, because, again, these guys are very tough, not only in the racing style background, but also just in their overall control that they can bring to the table. All about timing and pacing each time you go around the track, and again with those tire setups and those fuel lines, you just want to make sure you get enough just at the right time in the right place. But with these cautions, man, that's one thing that's going to be very interesting when we go into the seasons ahead and the races ahead, is with this new with this new 670 horsepower package. How much does that change every track, and how much does that change the factor in of the racing itself? Like I say, it's a good thing we kind of didn't have it at Rockingham, because even though I know that was a bit of a troublesome crash zone, unfortunately, that to me was still, for the most part, a relatively decent race, and still had a lot of great moments in there. It was just some guys unfortunately found the hard way why you got to be careful with that 550 horsepower there. For 670, I think it may have been a little too much. I think it'd have been a lot harder to really control and consistently get around, because that steering issue there, me, is just still there. Alright, race fans, we're still going to get ready to fire back on down, get things cleared up. Let me know in the comment section down below as well how the stream is looking on your end. I wanted to make sure that we got everything kind of cleaned up and cooked up again. Some folks were kind of messaging me up asking me if we can try to get a little bit of a higher resolution, and to be honest, we're still trying to figure that out. But I mean, for the most part, if I'm gonna like put resolution over how we call a race and how we present the race, honestly, I'm not gonna try to end up having the frame rate just go dropping off like that. So that's kind of why we kind of stick with the resolution we got right now and how we play everything out. But as we get down to the front straightaway here, the green flag charges back up, and Kerfan has the advantage. Bounding through the field here, drivers are going to get some, and there's those guys that get you some motorsports here with Cole Martin. Now looking to try to take on Nathan Bogart in the number 30. Bogart representing for Sideways Motorsports here as the field continues to rush their way around. Oh, no, wait a minute. We got huge trouble back there. A big wreck off of turn 2 in the back straightaway. Still wrecking behind him. Huge wreck ensuing down there. Major implications and problems with drivers down there getting wrecked on out. And just when I thought we were going to get this one kind of ready to go for another long shot run, looks like that does not seem to be the case. And remember, they only get one instant repair, so they get a little too crazy down there. That could be a much bigger problem than we realize. Looks like the wreck was already kind of happening there off turn 2. I've seen the 95 involved. There's a 61. There's a 63. And Jersey Mike's, man, he took a huge hit there, unfortunately. Stacks and Stokes definitely not too pleased about that one, I guarantee you. But what happened exactly that started this whole mess to begin with, that remains to be unseen. So let's go ahead and take a look at it here. And I believe it'll happen with the 95 of Aaron Brown here. Let's take a look at it here. 3 wide for a brief corner edge there. Brown looking to try to make a move off Chris Papa. Here's the 3 wide, 4 wide. And, okay, maybe it wasn't him there. No, I guess it's the 85 down there. It's Nick Biddy. Okay, my bad. Alright, one last time, I swear, guys, and then we'll be good with this replay. Okay, so Nick Biddy was the one that started it. It was kind of hard to tell the number. It was kind of crunched up when I saw it. I thought it was the 85, but it was the 95. There's the problem right there. The 21 getting way too hard in the corner, lost it in the turn. And unfortunately for Noah Howland, he kind of started up a little bit more than I think he wanted to do in this case. That's a tough break, though, for him. He definitely did not mean to do that or meant to try to have that happen to these guys. Tough break for everybody involved. Well, just going to have to keep pacing this one around and get things fixed on in. Still a lot more racing to go and still a lot more battles to be had. Race fans, we'll take one more commercial break here and and hopefully when we come back, these guys maybe settle it back down just a little bit and we'll be ready to go for some more racing. Tonight's race, ladies and gentlemen, brought to you in part by the Muffler Man. They are the ones that have been your mechanic shop, has served customers for all over the country for 20 straight years. Muffler Man is located on 219 Columbus Road in Athens, Ohio, and that performs all sorts of services and for all various vehicles, including exhaust maintenance, custom bending, shocks, struts, brake maintenance, oil changes, tire services, and more. You can call Muffler Man at 740-592-3593 to get your vehicle serviced today. A big thank you from BackFire Sim Racing and all of us here at PTM Racing TV for sponsoring the show. Take a look at the back of the pack here and see how some of these guys are damaged up. See if some of them still have a car at least left intact here. The 13 Chris Papa, you saw that rear end damage he had suffered earlier on. That due to the first caution actually before this one. Or second caution, 2 cautions ago, not the caution, but first one. Ended up kind of getting things a little bit more out of control, a little bit more paced in line. Field trying to somewhat redeem themselves and hopefully get fielded back in. Nick Howland, major damage in that front end there, unfortunately, due to that little spinning tag there. That's not going to be a good spot for him, and he definitely knows it. And because these cars are going to be a little bit more aerodynamic independent and a little bit more on the harder side to drive, that could really make things a bit of a challenge here and really bring the best and the brightest out on the field. Nathan Bogart right now moving up top 5 here in the number 30. Of course, with Jason Schilling kind of sneak his way in. Patrick McQuaid also in that fight. Cole Martin, Tom Bourne, and Aaron Brown rounding out the top 10 in this case. 16 spots up for Schilling, though, the hard charger of the day so far in the number 2. Will he be able to claim, take that back. Well, I was going to say he is a hard charger, but I think I might have to change my mind. Mike Corvo, actually 17, tied with 16 on the restart here, so the 82 currently is in contention with what Schilling is doing. But I think for Corvo, starting back on 30th, really lit a fire in him to really push this thing just a little harder than everyone else. We're going to bring it back to the line here. We've got only about 24 laps in. We need a full 100, boys. Let's get down to business. Let's start racing them up again onto the green flag at Fontana. No surprise here, Kerfan Savazzi getting a great jump. Savazzi trying to hold it with him. This is where teammates really become a big factor and really a big help here. But also it kind of becomes more of an error of just who can outlast the other. Look out behind. Here comes the 87th Audius Marshall now charging right up ahead. Audius looking to gain some ground, looking to gain some track clearance here. It's got a good drive in through the lines, in through the set of corners here as they're punching their next lap. The number 26, oh no, we've got trouble. Mike Corvo, I think I may have gave him the old broadcaster curse. I was talking good about him, and next thing you know, something happens. Take a look at the PTM instant replay and find out what exactly transpired here, as this one looked like he may have got himself caught in a bad spot here. Yeah, I don't really think he got tapped by the 35, but he definitely got a little nudge there from the 37. I don't see any contact made there on the outskirts there, but it looked like he may have just kind of overshot it himself. We'll take a look at the replay here from his gearbox cam. Top of the roof here, let's see what happened. Yeah, there was definitely no contact made there, so it looks like he just kind of spun out on his own. And I think a lot of this, again, the struggles these drivers are dealing with is because these cars are still, you know, a little bit newer to them, and also it's a little bit new to just kind of go out there and have to drive a whole new package considering you just got used to starting up with something already. All depending on how you look at it and all depending on how you want to drive it out here. Jeremy Richmond, yep, just loose, that's right. Great to have you back on board here too, Jeremy. It's been a while since we heard from you, sir. Guy's going to pursue in right now. Eddie Morris going to go up into the top half here. He'll join his fellow JKR brothers as he'll hopefully find some run and help out Kerfan and Savazzi back into the front. Chris Papa, Nicholas Panico, and Joe Davidi. Everybody all in that scrunchel into that fight here. The 1-3 speed machines. These guys are bad fast as they are bad tough to beat. Papa, Schilling, and Powell represent them well. Yeah, the biggest thing too is again with that one instant repair job. I mean, it's really just kind of depending on how you look at your circumstances, but when do you go in to get a fix up, to get a job clean up? Yeah, easier said than done here. Sometimes it's really, to me, the biggest time to go in and get an instant repair done is when you're literally got nothing left of the car and there's just not enough laps to really get a whole cleanup job on this thing with this 2-mile long track. And you're probably wondering at home, like, why do they have an instant repair to begin with? Why don't they just race like a normal NASCAR race or any of the actual races out there where you only get one car? Well, again, iRacing, as crazy and as fun as it can be and more simulation it still is technically, and for those out there that are hobbyists, close your ears, it is a video game, so it is a little bit more on the finicky side on how much you can actually control down there. Sometimes you can't just get away with running on the track and dealing with the added pressure from drivers. Sometimes you can deal with the glitch graphic gremlins kind of popping in or taking you out or something in this case. Richmond saying he's out of town for work, but he's rooting on his fellow boys in 95, 96, 97, and 99. Alright, we'll bring him back to the restart here. Carl Hamburg, last time we saw him was at Rockingham Speedway. He certainly put on a show and put on a fight down there. Now looking to get it again and start up fresh from the pack. He'll have his hands full though because he's got a murderer's row behind him with fresh tires and some even more so with a fresh set of gears and a fresh set of gas in there. The field is charged up. The field is ready. It's all about playing into this one. As a 37, Joshua Kirsch going to have to deal with that little damage there on the front end of his 37 machine as well as the right side corner end. That was due to the little wreck, unfortunately, between him and Corbeau. Corbeau, I believe, is all good to go and ready to get back at it here as much as these guys are. As they land him down off the corners here, turn number 4, back in line to a green flag restart. Muscle bounding their way to the first set of corners. Look at the charge right through the middle. Holy smokes. You want to know why they added that horsepower package? That's why Matthew Rodriguez, he didn't just shoot the gap. He flat out obliterated it. Holy smokes. And here comes that FRN 57 now. Rodriguez is literally challenging all those that oppose him. But again, he's got to watch out because he can't overdrive that car. He's got to be careful about the steering down there, especially with guys like Savati. Savati wrecks it off of turn 4 with the 10 behind him. Oh, and one of the guys usually that is pretty good about getting a good runoff and a control of the car ends up getting a spin around in a toe tap there. As the toe tap comes from Nick Biddy, unfortunately. Well, back to the replay. Let's find out what happened here. We got ourselves another wreck, which means the PTM Instant Replay must be engaged. Looked like he was loose. Almost saves it. Then gets into the 10. Next thing you know, well, there's not really anywhere else to go. And I don't know what kind of glitch graphic gremlin decided to ghost the 97. I don't know if he thought he was playing Mario Kart down there or what, but that is not how you get right by him there. Although I think at this point that we can say that was probably one of his oh sweet honey iced tea moments there if I was in his shoes. Goes right through Savati. He doesn't even realize what happened. That certainly is one of the things our sim racers will say. Although yes, I did abbreviate that in a longer abbreviation, so that way I didn't get cut off on Facebook and YouTube here. You can see that wreck there, unfortunately, just getting him all over the place here. He tried to save it, but Savati just could not get enough of a run there to get it off that spot. That's a tough break for him. So, we'll just get him lined back up and just start him all over again. For those at home that have tuned in with us for the first time ever on PTM Racing TV, first off, thank you so much for tuning in. If you haven't already, like and follow us up here on Facebook. Our YouTube end will have this race in its entirety following after the show, so be sure to subscribe over there so you never miss a beat, you never miss a run. And also, tomorrow night, I've got something very, very special I promised you guys. I said it last night because I just found out about it, but I'm going to show you guys again. If you haven't heard, yes, we got the Los Angeles Coliseum, right? Everything just added that on, what, Wednesday? Well, guess what? We heard your cry, we heard your plead, and you guys don't want to just wait till February 6th. So we got in touch and we got notified from a couple of leagues. They want to go at it at the Coliseum. That's right, tomorrow night, 9 Eastern, 8 Central, Stay tuned. League versus league. They're gonna go at it one-on-one in a heat and a main event battle. You do not want to miss it. It is going to be a barn burner fight and a showcase of the toughest drivers presented by Race Ranch and R&R Raceway. It's going to be Race Ranch Clash at the Coliseum, where we will see Scar versus iRock one-on-one in the Next Gen Cup cars. You don't want to miss it, folks. Stay tuned. It will be live on our Facebook tomorrow night. Brought YouTube following after the broadcast. And, of course, Sunday night as well. Here we have a quadruple header again. It'll be the last quadruple header we have for a while because, believe me, I can only do so many of them a year. Just trust me on that rule. But we'll have, in this order, Joe Sixpack Racing League, Pedal to the Metal Racing League, the Infield Tractor Tire Super Series, and then the Sport Compact Racing Association. I think I got all of them in one show. I think I got them in one go. I think I got them good. But yeah, stay tuned for that one. That will be Sunday night, and believe me, my voice is probably going to be shot by the time we're done and over with that one. Nevertheless, so race fans, we're going to bring these guys back onto the back straightaway where pace lights are off. Pace car's lights are turned off on the car here now. So as that Ford Fusion drives around here on the back stretch, the field of drivers is now starting to shrink a little bit, down to only about 24 on the lead lap here. Make that 25 actually, because it looks like Jason Schilling. Nope, never mind. Has caught back up in the field here. Unfortunately, same can't be said for Nick Biddy in 26th spot, and then Noah Howland, Bronson Stafford, and all them behind. Stafford unfortunately used up his instant repair because that little wreck he suffered earlier, and also now dealing with the added pressure of trying to get the time zone out. Coming off the front straightaway here as they lean him back into the fight, into the fray. You see that 57 launch off the start. Green flag back on out, straight to the line. Our flagman tonight is our good friend Daniel Jackson, or as we call him, DJ, on the stand. He is currently working the flag and not working the mic, but thankfully that's my job tonight. On down that back straightaway here, we got Alexander Jacob now moving in with Eddie Morris, his teammate, and the JKR Motorsports crew. Down on that front straight, down onto the back to turn 3 and turn 4. 3 wide, salute, engaged. 55 starting to come down a little bit though as Nicholas Panico had to back off a little bit, stay out of trouble. Everyone just kind of starting to vault around, getting into the hunt. This is where things get interesting, is how can they get around the packs and stay out of trouble here? That remains to be seen as they start to maneuver, slice and dice their way around. Aaron Brown also now getting a little bit of a charge and a little bit of a giddy up here. But right behind him, that's Joe Davide here in the 83, getting himself everything she's got, trying to see what he can do in the Klein machine. The Klein Tools 83 Chevrolet Camaro giving a good run down as he heads straight for the bottom. And up top here, that Muffler Man 77 of Patrick McQuaid is not looking too bad either. He's got a lot of room, a lot of breathing room down there to work with. Eddie Morris in the 96 here being challenged up by him as they start to cross thread, slice and dice him up more. This is where the hard charge and hard racing comes into play. As you can see, it's going on not just from the back, but to the front. Look out behind. Here comes the 16. Tom Bourne moving in. Teammates here with Matthew Rodriguez, but it's not going to matter much when Bourne's around. He doesn't care about teammates. He's only worried about one thing, and that is working every ounce of this track and getting himself a chance at victory lane. A season championship stake would certainly make his career and make himself an opportunity and options secure. Down onto the front straightaway here, the 16 now moving in closer to the field, closer into the back. Every driver for themselves, no one giving an inch. Even Carl Handwerk kind of going down low. He wants a cross thread here. They ain't just cross threading them up, they're just cross threading them through. Everybody just doing a great job holding themselves in place and holding themselves in line. But there's still a lot of racing left. As you notice, we're not even at the halfway point. Oh, that's a bit of a shocker. Big wreck there off turn 3. We got one flying out of here. Oh my. And Thaddeus Marshall just wily coyoting that thing right in turn 3 out of turn 4. He literally went straight through our camera angles, just went right past us. I don't even know what the heck happened to him there. We do know we saw a bit of a wreck and a scruffle there on Rodriguez. And I believe I saw one of the other guys involved in that one, but I'm not sure who. We'll take a look at Thaddeus in a minute, but I want to know what the heck happened to Rodriguez and the rest of the field there, because that was a big little hit there, to say the least. Here's a PTM Racing replay. There you again see cross-threading, dicing them up and slicing them up out around the track. That's one thing you got to be careful of. You can see the bumps on the road getting harder and harder for them to control. Okay, that's where that happened. 57 getting loose, and there's where Thaddeus, holy my goodness. Thaddeus got sent to the shadow realm for all we know, man. He was drived hard out of there. That was a hard wreck. Oh my. He is moving inside the car, and he is getting word to the drivers that he is okay, but I guarantee you he's not going to be feeling too well from that one. One more look at it. And again, that's just an extremely scary sight to be seen, scary sight to even think about. As a driver, you never want to see that happen whatsoever, but you can see he is okay though, and he's got a repair straight out of the box and straight out on the track. He's back out and he's ready to fight again. Well, we knew though going into tonight though, this race would be extremely tempting for guys to get a bit of an edge, bit of a runoff. But again, with that added horsepower and that harder to control kind of car, that really made things a lot more difficult for the drivers to really race it out with. As I told a friend of mine the other day, literally, this is not like street stocks. This is not like a late model or super late where you can pretty much put fenders together, kind of push, bump, bang, and kind of swing everybody around. You have a certain feel you can get used to over time, or you can get the car down. This is an all-out kind of sensation where you're literally having to throw everything out the window, and you're having to rework from the back and the front of the car. The rear end is definitely a lot more powerful now, and it can slide you out of control. The front end, because of that twitchy steering angle and that offset, it makes things a little bit more controversial, a little bit harder to control. And in reality, it makes the car harder to drive, which, again, out there, it really is, yeah, like Jeremy Richardson says, the cars are on ice skates. It really is true. They are on ice skates. They just don't have a true feel to them yet. They don't really have that overall control and balance that I feel like they deserve and they desire. But I feel like over time, when a few more updates come and things get a little bit switched up more, we should be seeing a whole lot difference and a whole big maker in there. Double filing them back on out. How will the field get ready to wrap up and figure out this one again? We're going to see what happens here. Drivers engaged to shoot it out once more. Everyone looking to give themselves a run down and a field day in position. Richmond also saying autocross racing surface is half the problem, just so worn and old. Well, I did say at the top of the broadcast as well that was going to be their biggest challenge. I think if you read the description here too, folks, we did. There was a reason why when we put this into the broadcast today, we said point blank, they're fighting the car as much as they're fighting the track. There is a reason, and again, Richmond just pointing out perfectly what it is. This old worn down surface and track layout is going to be an absolute hit around, because again, the older and the more tore up it gets, the slicker it becomes, like the old Atlanta Motor Speedway. and it gets to be a very big handful for drivers to really master and outgrow the track. That's where you just gotta kind of watch yourselves and be careful out there. As we always said though, that makes it more fun for the drivers because they gotta figure out how to race it. But it can be a bit dangerous too if they're not too careful and they're a little bit more off-center and off-pace. Okay, yes, and bumpy as it gets too. Yes, Richmond. Believe me, I don't need a reminder about that. I used to drive the Gen 6s and even the Xfinity and trucks here, and I can tell you those bumps, I did not like them too much. Even in NASCAR Heat 4, I hated this track with the bumps because I did not like my bump. I did not like the bump, dump on the track, man. I always hated that feeling. It is so ridiculously rigid. On board here with West Florida, the 35. Haven't seen much of him today, but right now he's still charged in the back. He's up 9 spots here. Maybe just kind of laying thick, letting him see if everyone else spins in front of him, but I guarantee you right now he needs to start kind of driving this thing down to the ground a little bit more because this car is not too far off pace and speed-wise, but it's definitely off pace when it comes to how far back he is. Lap times tonight, we're looking at a solid 42nd best here, 40.82, 40.73. That was landed by Savati earlier. No one's been able to top it just yet. But the guys right up ahead right now, they're laying down about 80s and all them, and that's where they're kind of sticking to. Top speeds, of course, here ramping up upwards of 202, 203 miles per hour, which again, that's about a 10%, that's about a 10 mile per hour difference maker from the last time we saw these cars on this track. So, if you want to tell me again that 670 horsepower package wasn't worth it, I think you might need to go see a doctor to get, because I really do think that you may want to get checked out because this track is now a lot more racy in my opinion. All jokes aside, here is probably I'll probably get canceled for that little comment. And we're coming down on the back straightaway here. Everyone leaning down to the field, running up off down the ends here. Eddie Morrison, 96, dealing with Joe Davide right up ahead of him. As the Klein Tools 83 still hangs on to the top 5 spot. But there's a lot of other guys just willing to take them down and get them up a few notches. One's like the 55 and Nicholas Benico as he goes 13 spots up. Started 20th. He is in 7th down, back down to 8th, so he'll have a little bit less room to work with here. Fighting out there, Savati going straight to the inside zone as Bogart tries to hold him down, hold his run in place and in charge. So much control as the Crystal Pacific Marketing 97 tries to find some momentum to carry through and to carry off of him. Not letting him by that easily though, is giving him just hanging in there for all it's worth as the number 10 of Robert Kenny. Well, earlier on we saw him getting into a bit of a scruffle or kerfuffle, if you will, off turn 4. This seems like he's now kind of fixed himself and got himself back into a better place here. Car does seem a little damaged up, so it may be a little bit harder to control down the road, a little bit longer runs wise, but I don't think it's going to affect him too badly here. Backstretch here, everyone paced out and around, no one giving an inch here, everyone looking for some power and momentum under the hood. Our blimp cam here, you can see now how much these guys are looking for an angle and a cross thread opening here. You can see again, this is where that mid-pack scenario can really pull into good strengths and good run here, as currently we got problems down there. So Savalti popping in and out. That's not a place you want to be. You can see drivers trying to avoid him here. Oh, but that's not going to help anyone here, especially not for Thaddeus Marshall, the 87. Losing it there off the front straightaway because of the little blink there from Savalti. Handwork was not sure where to go or what to do, and Savati unfortunately blinked out at the very wrong time, costing a lot of guys momentum there. That is a tough break for Thaddeus Marshall. He was moving his way back into the chains, back into the field, and now he's going to have to try to get even more ground and clearance and more speed up on the ends. Guys getting pretty crazy here. They're heading everything they got and looking for every kind of move off they can. Look out for the number 10, Robert Kennedy. He goes up top, he goes to the bottom, he cross-threads it through. He says, I'll see you later. Let's with this one, dude. Hey, by the way, anytime I see a blinky car out there getting attacked by the Glitchcraft or Gremlins, that is one of my oh sweet honey iced tea moments, and I guarantee you most sim racers will agree because that always is a scary, scary spot. It just seems like they don't even know where they're going or what's going to happen next, and they're just trying to avoid every bit of it, to say the least. Coming off down out of turn number 4, guys getting very, very close to that wall protection. I know they're trying to run the outside line to try to keep their car somewhat more in place and in check, but downside of doing that is, again, with that steering, if you ever so get it wrong the slightest bit, well, you might as well find yourself a place to hide because you're not getting out of this mess that easily. On board with that number 30 National Guard, a Bogart here as he keeps doing the Klein Tools 83 right in front of him, as well as a 1-3 of the number 26 teams. Blake Howell doing a great job, pretty much kind of keeping him team and everyone in place and in check as they go back into a 3 wide salute stance. Whoa, they're getting pretty close there off turn 4. It just gives me a little bit of the heebie-jeebies up there, man, because these guys are getting so much runoff and getting so crazy down there. It gets to be a bit scary sometimes. How they're able to work these cars in and hold the throttles in as well as they do is beyond me sometimes, to be honest with you, folks. Ricky Gonzalez, number 48 here, looking for a rundown. You can see him muscling down that thing into the field. One thing I do like now is because you are further back in the field, that doesn't necessarily mean you're kind of stuck or trapped here. It means actually, if you time it just right and you get enough speed, you can pretty much just get a lock and a load on these guys and catch up to the field. Aaron Brown going to go into pit road. Well, no, he's not going to pit road. He's actually just having all sorts of issues as well. None of the JKR Motorsports guys are escaping the ever-elusive problem that is the Glitchcraft for Gremlins. They are attacking at full force today. Chris Papa, the 13, is fighting for everything he's got to hold that car online. While you see guys behind him just kind of moving the chains in here a little bit. Coming right up. Oh, no, 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 not again. Oh, whoa. Well, they saved that one. Oh, yeah. And Aaron Brown and Chris Papa saved it, but not before the caution came on out there. And why do we have two relays there, broadcast? All right. I was wondering what was going on there, producers. You told me something was wrong. You weren't letting me know. Sorry about that, folks. Didn't mean to have two overlays going there. Well, here's the PTM Instant Replay once again, and I'll tell you one thing, folks. This is just going to happen ever so much these days. It's just going to be one of those things. Until these guys get a little bit more of a handle, a little bit more of a control in these cars, it will pop up from time to time where someone just gets a little too aggressive, gets a little too on pace, and a little bit too close for comfort. And the next thing you know, it's just kind of a hit and run, shoot out there. Looked like Brown and Papa, both guys kind of came down slightly. This is good driving on Brown, though. He was able to back his corner off and just kind of let him steer back into it there with a 13 and get him squared away. And that, to me, is extremely good driving and care of his car as well as control of it in this place. Field heading pretty much all for pit road. Nobody's not going to go into pit road this time, so just get a good look at the track here and get a good look at the field right now as they pop their way in around the track, around the spots in the pit lane. Pit road is open and ready to go. Halfway through this field so far and through this race, and really, it's been a wild one to say the least here, but it has been fun to call and been fun to watch when these guys got it dialed in here. I think the biggest issue again is just when do they get it dialed up a little bit more so than it not. So the battle off pit road that we'll see the 99 take that one over. Eddie Morris, Blake Howell, Tom Bourne, and Robert Kenny are the top 5. Then Wes Fuller, Nathan Bogart, Joe Davidi, Ricky Gonzalez, and Anthony Zirkle will be the top 10 coming up from that one. Fontana, California, definitely down below me here. Extremely excited to see this one play out and seeing more of the racing going on. But of course, there is the ever-looming thing that we are all very well aware of. And if you're not very well aware of it, well, let me introduce you to the updated version, the updated model that has to come here of Auto Club Speedway. Now, remember one thing is for sure is that we do not have the new updated 1 mile long big banked in track version yet, as that will be coming in next year, or at least getting worked on by next year for Auto Club Speedway. About a couple of years ago, they said point blank that we are looking to upgrade the track. We're looking to upgrade it to more of a short track style racetrack rather than using a 2 mile long Pacification and field end entry. And a lot of fans may be wondering, okay, wait a minute, why are they going from 2 miles to 1 mile, or why is, other tracks getting configured in to be a little bit shorter or a little bit long, or to be even more kind of freight track style like Atlanta Motor Speedway has now become. Well, there is one big thing I'm going to tell you guys right now about that, is that we're going in a direction more towards our history. And our history has shown we have always ran on shorter tracks. We've always ran on smaller tracks. But there was a time where we actually had a bit of a pacing around the motorsports industry itself when it came to NASCAR, IndyCar, and even a little bit of trying to get the Formula One guys involved in and even road course drivers like Mazda and IMSA, and even USAC. But what happened is that big push in the 90s and all them for mile and a halves and the cookie cutter tracks went away, because we were starting to get a little bit less of that package and that speed that really made those tracks and made them more worth it, while also the seating arrangements and getting that many fans in the seating was starting to dwindle more as NASCAR popularity, as well as IndyCar especially. I mean, just go if you don't believe me, just watch NASCAR Man's history and retelling of that and the Indy split there. I'll talk more about that later. But as we get to the green flag here, right back on the restart zone, we'll kind of finish the story up here as we let these guys figure this one on. Don Boren 16, Eddie Morris up on the outside here. Right now moving their way to the field. It's the 26 that Blake Howell tries to catch up there with Kirfan. Kirfan going to have a little bit of help here if Morris can catch to him, but right now it does not seem to be the case. In the back of the pack, 3 wide saloon yet again. Handwork though, and Corvo managing to stretch this one out. Panico going back down low. He didn't want nothing to do with that one. May have been a smart move on his end, a little bit of a smarter runoff there, to say the least. As the field just kind of stretches themselves in, just go whenever they can. Hupka saying, hey Christian, just heads up, David is actually pronounced just like David, just letting you know. Oh, okay. What did I say, Davide? Oh, well, somebody's wrecking out back there. I'm trying to get a look on it here. It's Eddie Morris in the 96. So, David, I apologize in advance here as Robert Kenny gets a piece of Eddie Morris, unfortunately. That's twice tonight he's been caught in a bad spot. Well, let's take a look at Eddie Morris here, though, as JKR Motorsports is not doing really well here tonight, with the Coachcraft for Gremlins getting Savati and now Morris with this little gem off turn number 2. And he got loose on his own. You can see he's trying to save it. And again, there's that big overwhelming problem I have with that steering, and this is why again. Looks like I got kind of quarter tap there coming off the end. I'm not really sure if that was just unfortunately one of those situations that just kind of popped up to where one of the guys just could not get around him in time, or what happened, but he definitely got a little bit of a left tap there. Upka saying he's rooting for Cole Martin as well. For Keys racing here also. Well, he's here still, man, so he definitely knows you're rooting for him. Thank you for help. I will say though, I do kind of like the way that shifting does sound on the car there. It's kind of got that little beep boop bop beep boop like the Star Wars style you would hear. I kind of like that. It is kind of cool. Well, anyway, we're gonna get the guys back wrapped around here. Everybody looking to feel this one in, and again, real quick to Joe David there. I do apologize. I did not mean to say Davidi the whole time, so I'll try to get him down. I'll try to remember everything, but I'm gonna just pronounce it David from now on. So My apologies again to the 83 Klein Tools machine driver. Okay, going back to the story though about the IndyCar split and how NASCAR's popularity started to just dwindle down and get less. Again, when Auto Club Speedway was built, it was built back in just about when the 90s came around, and that was when they were trying to expand the markets, expand the tracks out, and get more of a big emphasis on bigger tracks and bigger venues for fans to come by and watch, because at the time they were in a little bit of a feeding war with also having to try to get bigger sponsors, bigger endorsements and deals there, and they didn't necessarily want their beloved sport to be looked more as like a demolition derby. So short tracks enfold because, well, they're short tracks. What do you do at short tracks? You bump, you bang, and everything else, right? Well, that was not quite the case anymore during that time, and they started really to really lessen the short track list, and they got more towards the mile and a halves, the mile longs at the least, and everything in between. And then of course you got the plate tracks and the 2 mile long tracks like you had Auto Club added in, because it's actually configuration designed up by like Michigan's is. And originally what it was supposed to be meant for was actually for IndyCar and NASCAR to come out here and race, and then of course some road course built into the tracks can help kind of justify that as well. So it was really supposed to be an all-in-one market purpose track, as like Texas Motor Speedway, which I've said enough about that track and its fate of North Wilkesboro Speedway, which that was taken back in 1996. So I'm not going to get further into that one. I've shared my thoughts on that, but basically, long story short, when we got into the mid 2000s, there was definitely a growing pain for bringing back short tracks to the list, bringing them back onto the field. And even back then in the 90s, they did not want to lose short tracks. They lost a lot of them. Heck, there was a point, literally Martinsville Speedway would have been next on the list if it wasn't for the drivers like Jeff Gordon, Dale Earnhardt, and even some big games like Bobby Lamonti, Darrell Waltrip, and all of them getting involved and saying, we need to keep these on the schedule. We cannot lose these. And even Darrell Waltrip said it best. We cannot be taken and not be given back too much here, because eventually it will come back to haunt us and bite us. And boy, did it certainly do that. So to end the story up, there is going to be, in my opinion, in the next 10 years, I say we're going to be seeing more short tracks on the list. We're going to be seeing more mile-long tracks on the list and a lot less mile-and-a-halves, especially if we see from that TV deal that we've been hearing about come, I think it's 3 years from now, about 2025. That's going to really be a little bit more of a it's going to be a little bit more of a less given to the tracks and more towards whether or not the ratings are there and the actual racing is there. That's going to boil down to the promoters and the promotions on those tracks. So if they don't get fans in the seats, we may see more tracks added on that could get fans in the seats, and I guarantee you, short tracks will put fans in the seats. Just look at what they're doing with WT Raceway right now. Gateway is already getting a big handful there. Anyway, speaking of which, let's get back to the action here. We'll talk more about it as we go through the race here as the field fires them on back down. Cliff still boarding on board. He's rooting for Joseph David tonight. Of course, Fitz Motorsports representing, and David Hara, come on sports saying, McQuaid, go get him, bro. David, good to have you on board. And we got problems down there. It's turn number 2. Ricky Gonzalez gets tagged in there with Thaddeus Marshall. The whole field in a scruffle trying to get away. Man, it's just like when I talk about a story, next thing I know, I'm just going to have to find another story to talk about or something like that. Things are getting crazy down here. That's a bit of a hard run there, unfortunately, though, and a bit of a troublesome situation popping up. To the PTM instant replay we go once again. And you can see right there, our camera angle isn't quite set on the 48 there. Everybody was going to be a bit of a handful there. Even the 57 got kind of loose, kind of all over the place. Take a look at Ricky Gonzalez is on top cam here. We'll take a look from the blimp here. Thankfully, I got this thing locked and loaded tonight for the camera angle, so thankfully it's working pretty good so far. Running it right down, and yeah, you can just see contact made, and there's not a lot you can do. Once you're in that spot, just at this point, you're just really letting Jesus take the wheel and letting the racing Lord take you from there. Good song by Carrie Underwood, by the way, if you haven't heard that one. So, field will just have to re-rack, restack, and all that. Cliff saying 82 got a piece. Yeah, he definitely did there. And Ellen Fuller coming on board saying go West and all the Tile Town racing boys. Ellen, great to have you on board here tonight. First time I think we've heard from you, so it's great to hear. It's great to have you here today. Ellen saying Wes' mom. I'm presuming she's meaning she's Wes's mom? Well, if I had to guess, she's probably we're talking, of course, about Wes Fuller here, so. Oh, okay, yeah, it's Wes's mom, my bad. Sorry, Ellen. Had a little bit of had to kind of refresh my brain here. I'm still stuck on that story I was talking about earlier. Teresa Stobart saying, let's go McQuaid 77. Teresa, great to have you on board as well. Good to hear from you. Patrick McQuaid, we saw earlier on, he was up in the top 5 half, really finding out the boys here. He's kept his car pretty much in one piece the whole night, so I assume he has not had an instant repair job yet. It's going to be good for him in this case because he doesn't have to worry about that, but at the same time, I think he's well aware of the challenges that lay ahead. He's going to have to be careful here. Double filed and back on in here. Everybody leaning back towards the field here. We'll see what happens as we get things kind of cleaned up there. Right off of turn number 4 this time on by here. Field stretched back around, ready to go back on the attack. Racks stacked and all that. Let's get back to it. Thaddeus Marshall sure got a bit of a run off on that start there. Made a big jump in between, made a big run in and through those guys here. Drivers now marching through the ends here of turn number 1 down through turn 2. 3 wide slid as Aaron Brown just cuts through the gap. Slings it through, has all day to play. He says, hey, let's just swing this one on by, shall we? Still a lot of laps left here that need to be completed and be done out on the track here. Everybody just trying to hope for the best and hold on for what they can. The 35 West Fuller and this guy he's got on the front of that thing. Producers, give me a look at that one, please. I want to look at this here. Oh, yellow flag is on out. I don't know if that's his face on there or what it is, but I mean, I've seen a lot of crazy schemes that got people's faces on there, but that might be one of them too, as Carl Hanworth crashes out on the front straightaway here. Caution is back on out. Well, let's go and see what happened here. 3 wide salute, check. Do we have a wreck between that? Nope, so I gotta mark that off. Let's see, I think he just, yep, I'm pretty sure he got a little loose here off turn 4. As you can see, he already clipped the apron. Oh, well, that might explain a lot. Okay, ouch, 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 and ouch. Thaddeus Marshall getting kind of clipped in with somebody there, and then handwork. Well, he did the busy work of that when it came to the when he came to getting wrecked in there. Let's take a look from our chopper cam here as they're coming around that corner. That wasn't Thaddeus, by the way. That was a 63. I have to apologize up front. That was a 63 of Daxton Stokes. Stokes was the one involved there, and it looked like the 85 was the one that kind of clipped in handwork here. Field is bringing it back around pit road here. Everyone looking to just hopefully try to survive out a little bit longer, get some more tires and fuel under the hood here. Paul Butler saying looks like Josh Billeter's face. Well, to be honest with you, even though I've worked with Josh, I had no idea what his face actually looks like. No offense there, Josh. I don't know, the only thing I can say is I've seen my face on the cars before, and it still kind of made me feel a little weird inside, because it's like when I got my whole body and face on a car, I'm like, really? When did that happen? So... And no, for the record, I highly doubt you'll ever see my face here on PTM Racing TV. Believe it or not, I've been trying to figure out a way to incorporate like a real broadcast, but producers and I kind of found that it's better probably to not do that and just kind of leave it alone. So, but believe me though, I'm always out to find new ways to create things to do with racing. So, especially on our broadcast. Alan Forrest saying that is Josh's face, so she can confirm. Well, Billeter, man, if you're listening and watching in, brother, you got your face on camera for the first time on PTM Racing TV. Field will work their way on in. We're going to get them rack stacked, put them back on the attack again here. And I'm going to ask you guys at home as well, what are you guys looking forward to when we get to the next season of NASCAR? Because again, we've got a whole new lineup of stuff going on, obviously, with the Next Gen Cup car, but the tracks themselves definitely could get a bit interesting, and they could really bring out the best or the inner worst of these drivers. But in my opinion, I think what I'm excited to see is just the new tracks being put on the schedule, like WDT Raceway, as well as just seeing the dirt's back on. Bristol Dirt's going to get another show. We're going to see the night Bristol race being pretty much special and ready to go. You got, of course, some more stuff going on down here. And, of course, for me and the trucks wise, I get Knoxville back. Thank you. So, I don't know. That's kind of what I'm looking forward to. But, I don't know. I'll let you guys down in the comment section below. Let me know what you're thinking and what you're ready for. Because it's going to be a bit of a wild season ahead. But as for BackFire Sim Racing, they've got more than just a wild season ahead. Quite a bit more craziness in between to go with it. Lining them back down around the track here on the field, and we go. Green flag back high in the air. And once again, the 16 there, Tom Boren trying to work his way around, trying to hang in with Blake Howell here. Aaron Brown doing much the same. Aaron really is one of the last guys, other than Kerfon, to represent for JKR Motorsports tonight. Our boy Jeremy Richmond sadly is out of town here today, as well as Brock Savati having all sorts of glitch graphic gremlins popping up. He could not keep the car on the track tonight. He was told he had to go park it. He could stay out of trouble and help avoid issues here today. Field working their way around out of a turn number 4 here. Everyone getting a little bit kerfuffle, a little bit on the run, on the nose. Hard racing from front to back here. Everybody making it look rather easy, but that's not the case here. It's still a war zone down there. Jason chilling right now, the number 2, even though the damage on that front end looks pretty gnarly, a little bit cooked up, a little crunched up here. Still working all right in the Ford Mustang. The driver out of Des Moines, Iowa. Hey, wait. Des Moines, Iowa. Jason, y'all gotta get a hold of me. I didn't even know you were out of Des Moines, man. That's crazy. He's literally, he's literally like 5 miles south of me, man. That's a little bit wild to know, but that's pretty cool. And we got trouble down there in the 45. Cole Martin crashed in off turn number 4. Well, I just have to visit the replay once again. We'll see what happened here. Unfortunately, to the number 45, looked like he got kind of spin a bit of a tail whip there. It looks like turn 4 once again doing its job and doing its damage control tonight. And yep, you can see that slight little spin. That's all it took. Got right into the 96 and nowhere to go. It's just so much on the line, so much at stake. And again, this track, it's worn and tore, it's destroyed up, and it's really giving these guys a lot of headaches tonight. That is for certain. Twelfth caution of the day out of 100 laps here. It's been a handful, man. These guys are trying their best. They are giving it everything they can to do what they got. But again, it's just you're driving a whole new car, a whole new package deal, and you pretty much only had like 2 days to practice it. Yeah, it's not exactly the easiest to work around. I've had races where I took a whole week to race off and get things figured out. And it was like every day I'd wake up 2 hours straight of racing, put laps on the track just to make sure I was ready to go. And I still would have a little bit of a hard time handling the car when it came to race day. It's the same thing here, but the only problem is you magnify that by like 3 or 4 times, and now you've got yourself a war on your hands. Sean the Bounty Hunter Bounty coming on board saying car low. Well, car low, and for you, usually that's a low blow, so that's good to hear there from the Bounty Hunter. While the field stretches back in around the track here once again here, I think it is now time to go ahead and get a quick commercial break up. When we come back though, we're going to see, can these drivers find a way to keep them online, keep them from getting too crazy, too out of control here, and hold their line down to try to knock down Alexander J. Kerfon? We're going to find out when we return. Tonight's race, ladies and gentlemen, brought to you in part by Muffler Man, the mechanic shop that has serviced customers from all over the country for 20 straight years. They are located on 219 Columbus Road in Athens, Ohio. That performs all sorts of services for all various vehicles, including exhaust maintenance, custom bending, shocks, struts, brake maintenance, oil changes, tire services, and more. You can call Muffler Man at 740-592-3593 to get your vehicles serviced today. A huge thank you from BackFire Sim Racing as well as us at PTM Racing TV for giving a little bit of a light on the show and a bit of a sponsor for these guys. Flip Corbo saying Biddy up in top 10 now, let's go. Yep. Brad Thacker, oh no. Bounty will probably win from the chat. Hashtag alien. The attacker of Colton Lives Matter has joined us here, folks. I wouldn't be surprised if he all of a sudden just came in and just started to commentate with me again. He's usually known to go ahead and try and sneak into my broadcast somehow. David Harras saying 77 to the lead. Yep, getting closer to it. McQuaid will certainly have his hands full. Gonna work his way down around on the front straightaway here, looking to try and knock him down. Green flag back on out. Field works their way up on the front stretch. 30 laps left to go. And with a field like this, really, this can string up to be about really anything in this case. It could be a long shootout run. It could be a just quick and easy and done. And there are a couple cautions to be added on. We really don't know, to be honest with you. It's just a matter of time before these drivers just figure out what they really want and what they want to accomplish here. But again, they better be careful down there on how much they want to damage, because they've only got an instant repair they can use. And that one instant repair has been used up by a few guys tonight, so those that may have been used up already are taking it extra conservatively here, while some others may not be so much. They're going to run them through the field. Oh no, not again, not again. Are you kidding me? And unfortunately, Wes Fuller, he gets a toe tap there. Looks like there's a little bit of damage on the car here, and that is certainly not what he wanted to see and not what Mama Fuller wants to see at all. Oh, man. What a tough break here. Let's take a look at the PTM replay. Looks like him and Panico getting into it here. Came right down. You can see he's loose. Panico comes up a little bit. Didn't even realize where he was at. You can see the flaps being put to good use there. That's one thing I'll give Iverson credit for. They used the flaps really well. Flaps being used extremely conservatively and very on the nose when they needed to. And speaking of being on the nose, let's take a look at the onboard camera here on the nose. As we really look at the top of Bellator's head here. Yeah, you can see right there, just once that car was loose, it was gone, my friends. Look at those flaps popping on. That's one thing I'll give iRacing credit for. They definitely are realistic on that end. That's good stuff. But just, again, it's got a little too crazy and a little too close to comfort. And unfortunately, when you just drive it in that hard and you drive it in that spot, there's not a lot of areas to get away from there. So that is our 13th caution of the day. The hacker saying, I wish I could. My hackers are on vacation. Well, you better get in touch with them, because I know when it comes, what is it, the 15th, you're going to need them again. Bounty saying, I hope they have AAA down there. Oh boy. Well, I did say literally before we went green, we don't know if they're going to go long run or they're going to have just another stint of short runs here. It's hard to kind of tell anymore on this show. And it doesn't just involve these guys, by the way. I mean, we saw last night at Martinsville Speedway when Spartan Logistics Management LLC was on the show. They had all sorts of problems trying to get those next-gen Cup cars to be a little more under control and relax a little bit, even on a short track, which these cars are more based around. So that just goes to show you that this isn't just a one-and-done league issue. This isn't a one-and-done track situation. This is legitimately an issue that over time will get resolved and over time will get figured out. But unfortunately, right now, with the way things are and the way things are being handled, it's really going to be more patient and enduring to hopefully see a change in the game and a change in the playing field when it comes to our sim racing world, when it comes to these cars. Again, with those Gen 6s, they're still running those 550 horsepower packages, so a lot of guys are probably going to be moving over towards these cars now because they want more speed, or they may just be going towards what the 670s represent in Xfinity as well as the Truck Series with their 550 horsepower. All really depends on what they're after and what they're shaping up to be, but I don't blame them, though, for wanting to run the highest level of these cars and on this track surface as well, especially considering how NASCAR is with iRacing these days. But in all fairness, there is still plenty of room for growth and plenty of room for space and endurance here. So hopefully in due time we do get that, and hopefully in due time we do see it. But for now, we continue, we press on. And as you know, around here on PTM Racing TV, we don't stop on the race until this one is done and over with. Running them back through, send them back on down, and fire them up again. We're going back to the green flag. And the field's starting to stretch out, starting to get a little bit more conservative here, I would say. I think they're well aware if they start kind of knocking drivers down a little bit too much, they may be in trouble here. Nathan Bogart, trouble down there in the number 30 National Guard. The Chevrolet Camaro coming to a dead stop off of turn 2 on that end of the wall protection. Looks like he's going to try to get back on the track. He will continue on, but unfortunately, he's going to lose a lot of momentum and lose a lot of time from that. 25 laps left to go here for BackFire Sim Racing. And at this point, it's really anybody's guess just how close it will get and how close this will end up becoming. Biddy going up top side right now as the number 16 Tom Bourne works his way in. Panico getting a little bit scruffled in there, unfortunately, but him and Stokes managing to stay out of trouble. Daxton Stokes kind of holding his line down back there. Thaddeus Marshall trying to avoid, but he's not avoiding this one. A huge wreck yet again off of the front straightaway. Nick Biddy involved. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. My goodness gracious. Well, I'll just let the producers go ahead and put the PTM Instant Replay up, and we're going to find out what happened. You can see right here the 3 wide sub being engaged for a fleeting moment, but look at the 85. You see Biddy just yet again, just the car just got slightly loose and got off track there and off pace. And there really was nothing they could do about it. It's just that slight problem, man. It's just that slight little issue. Just gets, if it gets loose at all, or it gets one bit into a turn there, it's just I'm really trying to figure out where the heck we're missing something from this car, because I feel like there is something missing that is trying to keep this car online. And I said on the top of the show, I'm still not a fan of that steering, and I'm not a fan of the fact the car still feels a little bit underdeveloped still. This is where I have that problem with. And again, over the coming days and coming weeks, we'll have it updated and we'll get more changes done, but in my opinion, they really just need to get it figured out as sooner rather than later. Yeah, these drivers are doing everything they can, holding on for it. Bounty, this is probably the same guys that gave you a license when you got on the track. You know I love you, buddy. Oh, you're saying, wait, I never got one. Oh, come on. You too got one, Bounty. You have a license to be a bounty hunter, yet you don't have a license to drive on the track. Now, what kind of anarchy is this nonsense? What? Sometimes I can't even with these guys here, man. I'm telling you. Double filed up yet again. Pace lights turned off on the pace car. Field is ready to go once more. Everybody just trying to hopefully stay online, stay on target, and maybe avoid trouble when they can. They've been at this game long enough to know that when the going gets tough, they make it tougher out here. Coach saying guys can't hold their brakes when they wreck. Well, I'll be honest there. Neither could I. Even when I was spinning out, I could not. Yeah, my brakes would not actually stop me enough to keep these things online. And I was practicing with them actually earlier, and I ran them in Homestead. I ran it in Martinsville, Bristol, Auto Club here today. I've ran this car on many tracks since this update, and I'm having the same troubles they were. That's why I keep bringing it up. I'm not bringing it up just because I don't even know what the heck I'm talking about. I actually ran these cars before I even broadcasted today and even last night. I wanted to make sure I knew what the heck I was talking about when I got behind the wheel. That's where my thoughts and my feelings come in. Even tapping the brake, it still doesn't help you out that much. You can't save it, and even then the car just sometimes it just go one way and straight to the other. So a lot of these drivers are fighting not only the car, but they're just fighting themselves more than anything. And it is sad because, again, a lot of these guys, I've watched them before. They can race with the best of them. And this is definitely not a true showing and a true telling of what these guys can bring to the table. This has been more of a little bit of a head scratcher trying to figure out what the heck to do next kind of situation. Coming right around here, about 20 laps left to go here. Field is doing everything they can just to avoid trouble, trying to avoid problems here. McQuaid right on the ends, on the cups here. Back on the back straightaway though. Everybody else in place, in position. Number 63 of Daxton Stokes trying to make one last little hurrah, one last little fight at the rest of the field. He's been in pretty much everything and then some tonight. But he's not out of it yet. Has a chance here. He just has to stay focused. The 85 Nick Benny, the only one though in front of him. That is on the lead lap, as right now currently number 30 Nathan Bogart trying to get his lap back, trying to get back in position. Give credit where credit's due to Benny, man. He's damaged up badly and he's still out there racing it. Pretty much lost the spoiler, lost the rear end and everything else, just damaged up beyond repair, but he's still out there racing. Down right now, number 25, also moving in down low. He says, hey boys, let's see what this one can go. Gonna work it in there with the number 2, Jason Schilling, as the 1-3 Team Machine here, getting a little bit head into the wall on the Ford Mustang side of things. Problems down there for him and his crew, but he's able to at least stay out of trouble and keep it one piece at least. The 55 and Nicholas Benico now going up top side with Aaron Brown, and again Aaron Brown and Alexander Kerfon, the last remaining JKR boys. As our good friend Wes Fuller now looks to engage the charge. Lining up that draft, lining up that position. Got a little left after the Serenity Sun Tanning number 95. Aaron Brown though able to avoid trouble. He got a good run off there as Fuller continues to hold his line down. This is looking pretty good so far. Maybe we might be able to get this in. 17 to go. I think we've got a shot. I do think we have a shot here, folks. Don Bourne now fighting it out one-on-one with Matthew Rodriguez. This is your battle for the race lead. The FRN boys are teamed together, but that don't mean nothing to them. They want to race it with the best of them. And 1-3's team is not done yet. Blake Owl, the last remaining driver from that crew, with his teammates Papa and them falling right in the background. Trying to work the magic of the 3 and trying to work the magic of the team. Every driver for themselves here, especially with only 16 left to go. It can be anybody's guess here. Chris Papa, we mentioned a little earlier on, that number 13 trying to hold his ground, hold his time in. You can see him placing the field in as they go. He's working for everything he's got and then some here with the 77 just barely ahead of him. If he can catch his teammate here, he might have something left for him as the caution flies out again. Daxton Stokes, problems down there for the number 63. And once again, troubles unfortunately a brewing and coming on down. Let's take a look at the PTM instant replay for the Jersey Mike 63 machine. Looked like he kind of ran out of room and ran out of time here. Yeah, you can see right there, that's where the problems kind of lied in wait there. Try to back off the car and unfortunately just kind of smack dab right into the center of it. Wasn't much he could do, really wasn't much else he could really get out of that one. Again, the only thing he could have done was probably just slam the brakes down and hold it off from there. That part I would have agreed with there with Cliff, but we'll see right here. We take a look at the replay again. Yeah, this is where I would have definitely hit the brakes as hard as I could. Although you can see right here, he was trying to save it. The car just was not going to get saved there. Well, you can hear the motor's still running at least, so he'll be able to get down there and get it repaired up, but that is not going to do him much good here. Well, race fans, when we come back, one last restart, commercial free from here. It's anybody's guess. So who will win it out? Who will be able to take this one to the cleaner and win out Auto Club? We've seen crazy moments here before. Will we get another one from BackFire Sim Racing? Find out when we return. Tonight's race, ladies and gentlemen, brought to you in part by, of course, Muffler Man. They are the mechanic shop that has served customers from all over the country for over 20 straight years. They are located on 219 Columbus Road in Athens, Ohio, and performs all sorts of services for all various vehicles, including exhaust maintenance, custom bending, shocks, struts, brake maintenance, oil changes, tire services, and more. You can call Muffler Man at 740-592-3593 to get your vehicle serviced today. A big thank you from BackFire Sim Racing and PTM Racing TV for their support. And I do promise you that will be our last commercial of the day. So these drivers are now having to work their magic in. They're going to have to work the field down on the track here. Looking for any kind of momentum boost, any kind of help they can get. There's still some room for anybody to steal this one away. David saying looked like the horsepower caught him off guard after he saved it. Yeah, it definitely could be. I mean, again, really, it boils down to two things. When you got a 670 horsepower addition on there from a 550, I mean, that may not seem like much to those at home that don't know. Think like, oh, 550 to 670, that's only 120 miles per hour more. That can't be that much. I'm going to tell you right now, those that say that, I'm going to have you compare this in real quick. Try driving your normal day-to-day car. Like I say, I got a Toyota Camry, right? Yeah, I drive a Toyota. Come at me. It's a good car, by the way. You drive a Toyota Camry, and you drive it on the street on a drag strip for a little runoff, trying to get as much speed off it, right? Now try and then get out of that car and hop into a 1969 Corvette at full speed, at full tank and all that. Then tell me how you feel about either car there. There's a bit, that's kind of the difference maker. You're going from a car that could literally be more kind of a packed tandem draft style, which you see at Daytona and Talladega, versus now a car that has a speed of upwards of over 670 horsepower package. It's really going from a Camry straight to a 1969 Camaro, which I know is a big bad example, but I mean, if you want an example, you're going from a lesser end speed to a more high horsepower, just abundance of run. Alright, we're ready to get this one dialed in once again to the green flag restart. 12 laps remain. We've seen championships decided here. We've seen races come down to the wire. We've seen everything and then some from start to finish. Will we get another one of those here? Everybody just hoping for the best, trying to shoot this one to the end and here, shoot this one through the moon and through the field to the sand. Look out for Carl Handwork. The number 51 Chevrolet Camaro takes a big push and a big hit there as he went 3 wide saloon there with the 57 and the number 99 going right up. 66, 16 here at Tom Bourne. I don't know how the heck he saved that one, but he managed to hold it down. Everybody now going 3 wide, looking maybe for 4 wide saloon on the field. These guys are not done yet. They're going to give it everything they got. Handwork trying to get himself a win here. He feels like he's owed one from Rockingham. Well, he certainly got one there. But did he bite off more than he could chew? He certainly gave a little bit of a head noggin there, a little noggin knocker to the 57 of Rodriguez. I guarantee you Rodriguez will probably remember that one for a while. '95 here of Aaron Brown, kind of snuck in down by Matthew Rodriguez. Rodriguez now moving chains back up ahead, looking to try to get some ground on these guys. Alexander J. Carfon is looking for an opening, some kind of run to get around not only Bourne but Handwork. Handwork is in trouble. He had a good jump on the 3 wide initial start end, but now Bourne is looking to be wild on the track and making this and getting himself straight ahead of this one. I think he is born to be wild down there. Either that or he's the cousin of Jason Bourne. Either way, he's kicking some Sayers tail end down there, that's for sure. Griffon with a last-ditch effort, a last-ditch pass around. Speed starting to incriminate, starting to build up. He's doing everything he can not to burn those tires off completely, though, and keep the car in one piece. There's only so many laps you can go on this track before those tires take a huge hit and a beating down there with 9 laps to go, especially. It's anybody's guess who could take that one home. Bourne going back up to Handwork, and we're trying to get a run off here. Here comes Griffon to the middle, looking for maybe a 3 wide slew, looking to back him down. Racks stacked, all that, everybody looking for any kind of positions they can. What's Fuller now? Mama Fuller, you best be watching. Your boy is hammering. He's charging. He's giving her everything she's got, trying to get something around that 95 of Aaron Brown. Brown's not giving up, though. He won't let him have that line that easily. The onboard camera shows you all. Literally a back and forth heated exchange. Every single one of these drivers, even Ricky Gonzalez, gonna put his name in the hat. Where the heck did Gonzalez come from? He is literally marching the field 21 spots up tonight. He's a hard charger, but he's not the ultimate hard charger. That honor goes to Handwork right now as he's currently in a heated battle for 24th to 25 spots with Tom Bourne. Even Daniel Cow now making a little bit of a move off. He's starting to clamber away. Brown, big block. That way may have been a big mistake there, Brown. Oh, that's caution flag. Flies back on out now. Schilling with trouble. Schilling has got problems down here on the front straight. We got more trouble, though, with Thaddeus Marshall as well and Nick Biddy. Man, just a long distance travel and a hard racing situation, too, popping up from time to time. And it looks like it happens again here. Take a look at the PTM Instant Replay, see if we can get a good look at everybody and what happened. Looks like the 10 catches the 85, and that's where that situation comes up. Thaddeus Marshall getting wrecked around here. We'll take a look at the 85 here in a minute. Nick Biddy, man, he just cannot catch a break. Just finds himself in the worst ends, the worst spots, and still continues to drive it out. I mean, I'll give him credit where credit's due. He's not done and over with yet, but how he's been able to survive and really conquer as much as he has is beyond me. Yeah, right there, man. You can just see how turn 4 on the front straightaway. Tempers are definitely flying high, and things are getting a little bit more crazy as we go. Well, we're not done yet. No, sorry, Bob. We're not quite done just yet. Of course, top 3 will be interviewed after this race here, so be sure to stay tuned for that and on with us here today. I mean, at this point, the field is just kind of hoping and praying they can get something figured out here. Everybody just wanting to give it what they can, give themselves a chance and a half here. So much craziness in between, so much heartache, troubles around the track. And I guarantee these guys are going to be going in next week practicing a little bit more than usual and looking to hopefully get more grip and more control over these cars, because these cars have definitely tested and brought out the absolute toughest in everybody here. So the field gonna work their way back on around. It's not a green-white checkered attempt, but it's certainly close to it. When they come to the restart, 3 laps remain. Anybody's guess. Anybody can have this one in the field day. But who will it be? Coming off of turn number 4 this time on by. Watch for our boy DJ the Flagman to get this one high in the sky and bring it straight down. Let them run and let them fire it away. Let the zoomies free. Let the motors roar. One more go. Turn number 1. It'll be Bourne with the disadvantage. Kerfan with the advantage. Charging from the bottom. Chart to the top. Head work now, going to make it straight in line. Looking to take one right out of it with Rodriguez. Tom Bourne and all them trying to hold on just a little bit more as they start to file into the draft lines. Now the draft will be the saving grace for the drivers to get something going. This time by, flag will fly one more time high. 2 laps remain here. Green flag in the air. 2 to go. And oh, no, 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 no. Oh no, trouble down there for Aaron Brown off turn number 4, and now we're going green-white checkers. Good Lord Almighty, this one is going to overtime. They got 2 green-white checkers coming up, but what the heck happened to Aaron Brown? I mean, this is just one of those situations, man. He overdrove it, and he knew he was in trouble. Thankfully, he saw Gonzalez getting out of the way there. He avoided that one. Well done there, but Brown, I guarantee you, is not too thrilled with himself and not too happy with everything that's transpired tonight. I know what it's like to be in a team and really feel like you've let down your own team, your own group, and this is certainly one of those moments you really wish it never happened. He just had nowhere to go here. You can see him working the wheel, trying to hold on for just anything he can. He'll go into pit road, and I guarantee you he's probably looking at a fresh set of tires and maybe looking for one last chance. He's only going to get 2 attempts, though, as are all drivers here. Does any of these guys have anything left under those tires, or they have anything left on the car itself, man? Because, like, good Lord, these things have been pushed, beaten, shredded, and tore up for all it's worth, and it's getting to be a bit harder for them and their cars. Next time on around, we should be setting up everything here. Double filed back up, now preparing for what lays ahead. Let's see what happens here, race fans. This one's going to come down to the wire. They get 2 attempts. They mess this one up. They'll only get 1 last shot. We're going to end this one somehow tonight. This has been a long, long race for them to endure in a broadcast schedule, frankly, that they know they are going to have to continue to fight it out with and really strengthen their numbers. And it looks like we're going to stay under caution here. The drivers are going to get one last little time to get settled in and get settled up. I think they want every single one of them to get this done right. There we go. Pace lights are now off. And the time has come. There is so much at stake. There is so much on the line. Not just a bit of pride, but also the teams, their sport, and everything they represent. The esports world is full of some heavy hitters, and these drivers can certainly be named one of them. Which one will end up being the #1 driver tonight? Who will be able to come out on top? We're about to find out right here and now. The field is set, the motion is timed. We are ready to get this one cleared up and done tonight. 2 attempts. That's attempt #1 coming up. What will become of these drivers? Will they be able to swing this one on by and finish this race out on a high note, or are they going to go out in a crashy fire or a big bang tonight? We're about to find it here now. On the green flag restart, charge them up. This is going to be a hot one in hot at Fontana. Alexander doing everything he can to block and guard. He's got 3 different teams right behind him. They 3 different drivers, 3 teams represented in the top 5 right now. Everybody looking for a charge, looking for some momentum here. Kerfon trying to block the bottom from Howell. Howell trying to drive it harder on the outside. Maybe looking to dive it down in deep. Maybe a crossover engage. Ladies and gentlemen, this time on by. White flag is coming out. Here to the finish. White flag is out. DJ flagging it high. Don't matter what happens now. It's under white. Yellow comes out. This one's over with. They'll get the checker flags out one way or another here. The field's going to try to move their way in. Handwork with one last crossover on Matthew Rodriguez. Rodriguez getting crossed over again by Handwork. Howell, though, is going to dive it in deep on the back straightaway, looking for a run on Kerfon. Kerfon is literally not lifting that gas pedal. The slice Betelli, he entered into the turn. Howell has the run, though. He's got the inside corner of the battle. They'll drive it side by side to the finish line as they wreck behind him. Side by side to the finish line. It's a drag race to the finish. And by some miracle, Blake Howell will get him by a tire length. Are you kidding me? Blake Howell gets the finish he was looking for and a win over the JKR Motorsports 99 of Alexander J. Kerfon. Carfun will have to call this one a day. Blake Owl pulls off a miraculous end to this one. What a race end for the number 26 1-3 speed machine. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. The Dixon, Tennessee driver, man, pulled off all the stops. He must be used to the hot weather down in Tennessee because he was feeling a little hot and alive at Fontana's, Southern California's Auto Club Speedway. And that right there, my friends, is how you cook up a celebration here on PTM Racing TV. What a finish and what a day. We'll talk with the top three finishers in just a fleeting moment here. But first, let's take a look at the race results here, presented in part by Muffler Man today. Here is our race results now popping up on your screen. Blake Howell pulls off the stop, pulls off the finish. We'll take a look at the replay in a minute when he gets to the finish line. But Alexander Kerfon comes second, third to Carl Handwork, fourth to Matthew Rodriguez, fifth to Wes Fuller, sixth to Ricky Gonzalez, seventh to that'll be Tom Bourne, eighth to Nicholas Panico, ninth to Chris Papa, 10th to Patrick McQuaid. Rounding out your top 10 in this one. Other finishers popping up on your screen as we go along for the ride here. But race fans, well, we'll talk more about this one from the day and onward, but man, this was certainly a wild one from the get-go. All drivers put on everything they could to get to this point, and done so maybe more than I guess you could say our third place finisher here today, as Mr. Carl Handwork now joins us here on the show here. Carl, congratulations on a top three finish here, sir. And boy, what a runoff you had to make on those final four corners. You go in, down through turn one, you get past Rodriguez, got around Fuller earlier. Then you had to literally march your way through and hope for the best off turn four, spin in front of you, and next thing you know, you're taking over third to the finish. How did it feel out there?
It feels good. I mean, obviously, anytime you're bringing this thing home in a top three, it's good. So I'm happy for that. I wish we could have stayed green to end that there and not have those last couple cautions, because once I got these tires warmed up after maybe 3-4 laps, I was on rails. And when I was coming up through the field there, I think I could have got to the lead, and who knows what would have happened at that point. I know Kerfan was coming behind me too, so we could have had a nice little battle there. But circumstances, you get the yellows and you make the best of it. And yeah, I just had to try and force my tires to heat up before they wanted to and make those last couple passes.
For sure there. I know you had a lot going on, obviously, to the end, but nevertheless, here still the car held up pretty well, and it comes away with a solid finish and position here today. So I'm going to ask you this, my friend. You're going to walk away third in the podium spot. Who do you want to thank here today?
I just want to thank Josh for putting the league on out here. Thank you guys for putting the broadcast out, PTM Racing TV. Mark for hopping in and helping race control and everything like that. Obviously, having a race control is really helpful. Shout out to Rich, Barry, and of course PB, Paul Butler. Thanks for watching out there. Brought a nice little podium home for you boys.
You certainly did indeed. Handwork, congratulations, man. Great to see you in the podium. We'll see you next week out here.
Thanks, buddy.
Number 31, Carl Handwork, pulling off a tremendous show and a finish unlike any other, as we also seen quite a finish unlike any other here at Auto Club. A second place finish here for Alexander J. Kerfon comes away solidly and nicely for JKR Motorsports. And then first off, congratulations on that, sir. But I mean, I know this one's a little bit of a heartbreaker here coming to the end, coming to the line, but JKR Motorsports all night seemed like they were having all sorts of problems, but you were the gleaming light and the hope that really stride upon to finish this one out. What was it like out here on those last bit of laps?
Man, that was crazy. I really thought I was done after I nearly lost the car in 3 and 4. Really blessed that I saved the car in that moment. And to come away with a second after that, I can't be too mad. Could have been definitely a lot worse, but stings just a little not being able to bag that win.
For sure. I mean, at the end of the day, though, you can always say he came out with quite a performance, quite a showcase to the end here. I mean, at the end of the day, man, you still had to wheel the car around. You had to hold that thing online, and that alone already is just hard enough with this new setup, isn't it?
Yeah, very tight in to the corners, very loose off. It seemed like the car would be sticking one moment, then it'd be gone from you the next. It's a really big learning experience with this next gen package. I know my teammates were struggling a little bit more than I was, but I seemed to find my groove pretty fast.
Certainly indeed, Bill. Nevertheless, though, we are certainly going to be hopefully getting more things up and running, things a little bit crazier out on the track. So I'm going to ask you this here, Kerfan, as I know you come away with a heartbreaker here at our club, but is there anybody you want to thank here, though, for this race today?
Yeah, I want to thank all my friends for supporting me, watching me when they can. Definitely want to thank my dad's store, Kerfan's Market, for sponsoring me. Want to thank all of JKR Motorsports, my teammates, Jeremy Richmond, Max Graphics for providing this great paint, Auto Ventures, BAM Auto, JR's Mobile Detailing. There's a lot of them. I'm sure I missed some, but I love you all.
Well, you certainly definitely made them proud, and I got to believe you definitely kept your team alive and proud here today, man. So congratulations, and we'll see you next time out here, bud.
Yeah, thank you. Great broadcast.
Appreciate it, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, from JKR Motorsports, Alexander Carfon, as he walks away today with a solid position and finish here. As we now take it away here from second to the man who travels in first as we get the replay up and running. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Blake Howell onto the show in a victory lane trip here at Auto Club Speedway. Blake, as we're about to take a look at this replay, I'm just going to ask you this. What the heck were you thinking when you had to deal with that last corner there dealing with Kerfan, because you two just went haywire on the last bit?
Last corner, pretty much had to do anything that I could, and I'm surprised it stuck. I got into the corner and I thought I was gonna spin it underneath him, but surprisingly enough, it stuck, and I was able to get the run out of the corner. That little shot there down the front stretch is pretty much what got me this win. I feel like if I hadn't gave him that little tap, I don't think I would have gotten this, killed his momentum enough to take it.
Certainly there. Now, looking back at the replay, I mean, really, you just kind of had enough of a corner in to get his entry. He said he did get loose. He was a little tight down there, but, I mean, you two were pretty much, we've heard of bumping and putting fenders to the line here. You two had pretty much banged a little bit on that straightaway and took everything in stride, and only by a tire length that was separating you two out from disaster and failure. But nevertheless here, I mean this one's got to mean a lot to you and your crew, obviously, for how hard you had to race from the back to get to here in this case.
Yeah, man, it was a hard fight all day long, back to front, multiple times. Really glad to come out of it with a win. I feel like I definitely earned this one with how much I had to fight through today. Can't thank the guys enough. 1-3, Rogue Energy and URP.
For sure there. Well, nevertheless, though, it was a big battle and a performance unlike any other. So I will ask you this one here today, as you are coming away here the race winner and catching a big one in stride. Who do you want to thank you for all this tonight?
Chris Papa from 1-3 Speed giving this opportunity to race tonight. URP for the continued support, and Rogue Energy for support as well.
Well, nevertheless, I think you've made them proud. I think you've made them happy with this one here, Blake. Congratulations, man. What a race and a night it has been for you and your team at 1-3 Speed.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Blake Howell comes away with the W and the victory here as we presented it to you in part from Muffler Man. Be sure to check them out again at their call at 745-92-3593 to get your automotive repair done. And thank you again to BackFire Sim Racing for having us come on board for this season to watch them broadcast this showcase. Race fans, this will conclude our show and conclude our coverage. From all of us here at PTM Racing TV, we thank you from the bottom of our hearts, from all of us here. We certainly hope to join you again when the green flag flies this tomorrow night. My wish comes true. The LA Coliseum is going to be here. But for now, stay safe out there. I'll catch you when the time comes.